They came as explorers. Not invaders, not conquerors, just scholars of the void, seekers of knowledge. The Zyrelian Confederacy had charted galaxies for millennia, documenting primitive species, uplifting the worthy and avoiding the dangerous. When they stumbled upon Earth, they expected another quaint world, a Class 4 civilization perhaps, advanced enough for cultural exchange, naive enough for gentle manipulation. What they found instead was a nightmare written into the DNA of an entire species. At first, it was subtle. Their stealth drones passed silently through the upper atmosphere, feeding back signals and images. Cities gleamed with neon vibrancy, their architecture efficient and brutal. Satellites orbited in dense clusters, more than mere communication devices. Many were hardened and had kinetic or laser-based weapon systems hidden under the guise of civilian use. Curious, the Zyrelian scouts dug deeper. They began to analyze Earth's history, picking up broadcast signals that had leaked into space over the past century. What was expected to be entertainment quickly devolved into a horror show of unimaginable violence. Films and series glorified warfare, from trench battles to orbital bombardments. Video games simulated realistic combat scenarios. Even sports carried echoes of martial training, strategic aggression, unit tactics, and pain tolerance. General Varlock, commander of the observational fleet, narrowed his eyes, or what passed for eyes on his crystalline form, as he reviewed the data. These aren't just echoes of a warrior past, he murmured to his adjutant, Counselor Thex. This is cultural conditioning, generation after generation, preparing for battle. Thex hesitated. Perhaps it is harmless ritual, a way to discharge aggression without actual conflict. Varlock shook his head. Run genetic analysis. Cross-reference stress response, adrenaline distribution, reflex timing. The data came back within hours. It was damning. Humans didn't just adapt to violence. They thrived in it. Under pressure, their brains became more focused, not less. Cortisol and adrenaline synergized with neurotransmitters, enhancing reaction time, decision-making, and pain tolerance. Their bodies repaired faster under duress. They evolved with war, not in spite of it. They're apex predators, Varlock whispered, among themselves. Worse still was their history. The deeper the Zyrelians dove, the more disturbing it became. In just 10,000 years, humans had gone from tribal hunters to nuclear-armed superpowers. And every leap forward, every scientific or industrial breakthrough, was intimately tied to warfare. Gunpowder, radar, satellites, cybernetics, AI, all born from conflict. They turned necessity into savagery and savagery into advancement. Thex said, almost reverently, there is no race like this in all recorded memory. But why stop? Varlock asked, pacing. Surely, once they achieved stability, peace would follow? But peace, as it turned out, was a myth on Earth. No warless era had lasted more than a few decades. Even during peace, proxy conflicts, economic warfare, and covert operations filled the void. Their literature idolized warriors, and their legends were not of gods of life, but gods of death. Mars, Ares, Kali, Odin, victory at any cost, glory and destruction. It got worse. The observational drones moved closer, entering Earth's cyberspace through backdoors and military satellites. They found live feeds, communication intercepts, and underground footage. In Siberia, elite special forces trained by simulating extraterrestrial invasions, just in case. In Nevada, AI-assisted combat simulations pitted soldiers against non-human enemies with grotesque precision. In orbit, a weapons platform labeled Project Archangel had no terrestrial targets. It was aimed outward. Humanity was not just preparing for war. It was preparing for alien war. Panic swept through the Zyrelian command. The scout fleet had to retreat, the council said. No further contact. No diplomacy. No enlightenment mission. Earth was a death world with a death species. But before they could withdraw, one of the human satellites pinged them. An open message. No encryption. No camouflage. We see you. Let's talk. Varlock froze. They've known all this time? Not possible, Thex said. Our cloaking is perfect. We've been watching you too, the message continued. But we're not afraid. We just want to know one thing. How many of you are there, and how fast can you run? Moments later, the Zyrelian fleet was bombarded with pulses from an array of orbital telescopes and military-grade laser comms. They weren't weapons, yet. But the message was clear. Humanity had traced them, studied them, and now had responded with a predator's grin. And then the worst came. Hackers, human hackers, penetrated the Zyrelian systems. Their language was primitive, but their logic pathways were terrifyingly adaptive. Within minutes, 3 scout drones were taken offline. An AI virus embedded in Earth's satellite net had hijacked their targeting systems. Let's do more than talk, the human sent. Varlock ordered an emergency retreat, but the jump drive was slow to spool. The last image the fleet saw before slipping into faster-than-light was a human craft breaching low orbit. It was small, unmarked, matte black. No IFF, no comms, no propulsion trail. It shouldn't have existed. And it followed them. A single human interceptor, designed not for defense, but for pursuit. Across the stars, panic gripped the Zyrelian Confederacy. The existence of a war-born species that had not only anticipated first contact, but designed warcraft to hunt advanced civilizations shattered every principle of their doctrine. Their ancient treaties, forged in diplomacy and tolerance, meant nothing to a race that had built every building on the bones of conquest. The council convened in crisis. Refugees from the failed contact mission arrived weeks later. Varlock had survived, but barely. He brought with him fragments of intercepted human military chatter. Contact confirmed. Alien fleet observed and disengaged. Pursuit probe launched. Await further orders. Do not engage until Operation Mirror Sky is greenlit. Keep pressure. Let them know we're not scared of gods or monsters. It wasn't bravado. It wasn't posturing. Humanity genuinely saw themselves not as the underdogs, but as the apex hunters. The worst-case scenario had arrived. The galaxy had stumbled across a civilization that had been forged in blood, sharpened by pain, and tempered in atomic fire. One historian from the pacifist Arentha cluster wrote a public thesis warning others. Asterisk. Do not contact Earth. Do not answer their calls. Do not tempt them. They are not lost children of the stars. They are wolves, cloaked in flame. Asterisk. The Galactic Council tried to isolate Earth. They shut down warp lanes, redirected exploration probes, and deleted Earth's coordinates from the navigational archives. But it was too late. Years later, in the heart of the Groveth Empire, a strange signal arrived. A repeating message in over 2,000 alien languages. We are humanity. We come in peace. And then, a moment later, in a darker tone. But we were built for war. They came with sleek vessels and polite smiles, offering trade and science. But every empire knew the truth. Behind those smiles was a species that made war a sacrament, a culture that sharpened itself with every generation. Every system that welcomed humans soon found itself subtly shifting. Militaries upgraded, defense budgets increased, war games renewed. Humanity didn't even need to fire a shot. The idea of them was enough to change the galaxy. And when a rogue species attacked a Terran convoy near the Pharos Gate, humanity responded in exactly the way the Council had feared. They didn't retaliate with proportional force. They didn't send diplomats. They erased the attackers. Not just the fleet, the system. 1,000 planets went dark overnight. Then silence. No threats. No demands. Just a final message transmitted to the galaxy. We do not seek conquest. We seek peace. But we were built for war. Never forget that. And no one ever did.